Queen Esther, for such a time as this, based on the book of Esther. Some people think courage means strength. Others think it means power. But sometimes, courage means standing up when you are afraid, silent, and unseen. This is the story of a young woman who did not seek a crown, but was chosen to wear one. This is the story of Queen Esther, a king without a queen, in the mighty Persian Empire. King Xerxes ruled over 127 provinces, from India to Ethiopia. One night, during a grand feast, the king summoned his queen, Vashti, to display her beauty before the nobles. But the queen refused. Her refusal shook the palace, and by royal decree, Queen Vashti was removed from the throne. The king was left without a queen, a girl from nowhere. Across the city lived a Jewish orphan girl named Esther, raised by her cousin Mordecai. She was young, she was humble, she was unknown. When a search began for a new queen, Esther was taken into the palace. Mordecai warned her, "Do not reveal your people or your faith." Esther obeyed, and when the king saw her, she found favor in his eyes above all women. The crown was placed on her head. Esther became queen of Persia, a secret enemy. Soon after, a proud official named Haman rose to power. The king ordered all to bow before him. All obeyed, except Mordecai. Mordecai would not bow. Fury burned in Haman's heart, but it wasn't enough to destroy Mordecai alone. Haman plotted to destroy all Jews. Throughout the empire, by deceit, he convinced the king to sign a deadly decree. On a chosen day, every Jew, young and old, was to be killed. The law was sealed. It could not be undone. A time to speak. Mourning filled the land. When Esther heard of the decree, she was terrified. Mordecai sent her a message. Mordecai firm, wise voice. Do not think that because you are in the king's palace, you alone will escape. If you remain silent, deliverance will arise from another place. But you and your family will perish. And who knows whether you have come to the kingdom for such a time as this. Esther trembled. Approaching the king without invitation meant death. But after prayer and fasting, she made her decision. Esther, quiet, resolute. If I perish, I perish. Courage before the king. Esther dressed in royal robes and stepped into the inner court. The king saw her. Silence filled the room. Then he extended his golden scepter. She lived. The king asked, "What is your request, Queen Esther?" "Even up to half the kingdom it shall be granted." Esther invited the king and Haman to a banquet, then another. The trap was set. The truth revealed. At the second banquet, the king asked again, "What is your petition?" Esther rose. Her voice shook, but her faith stood firm. "Esther, if I have found favor, let my life be given me and the life of my people, for we have been sold to be destroyed." The king was enraged. Who would dare do such a thing? Esther pointed. "Esther, this wicked man, Haman fell in terror. That very gallows he built for Mordecai became his own. Victory and deliverance." The king honored Mordecai. A new decree was written. The Jews were allowed to defend themselves. And on the appointed day, the enemy fell. But God's people stood. Sorrow turned to joy. Fear turned to celebration. This deliverance is remembered as the Feast of Purim, the message of Esther. Esther's name is never spoken with miracles, yet God's hand is everywhere. She teaches us that God places people exactly where they need to be, at exactly the right time. You may feel unseen, unqualified, afraid, but heaven may be waiting for your courage, because you, too, may be here for such a time as this. Subscribe and share.